What's going on, y'all? This is ESSO, Digiwaxx blog. Sitting down here with my man Mecca. Going to talk about the Off the Wall project, a bunch of other things, I guess. Whatever he feels like asking me. So we're going to get into it. What happened is around like February, I realized I was listening to the Off the Wall album in my iPod more than anything else that I had. I have like 3,500, 4,000 songs on my iPod, and I was just consistently going back to this one album. And I started to tell a couple of my producers that I work with that I had this idea of kind of like recreating the album but putting my own spin on it and making it like an updated version of the Off the Wall album, something that like I had really been kind of like unable to get myself away from. So I hit up my producer Woody, who I work with, and I just sent him the album. I was like, yo, see what you come up with as far as, you know, putting tracks together. And he started sending me the tracks in like April, and like shit was just sounding incredible just from the production. So I really wanted to, you know, take my time with putting it together correctly. And I mean, now I think to this day this is probably my best work, and it's just so crazy that, you know, it had to come with the circumstances being what they are now with Mike passing back in June. I mean, it like that shit hit me hard. Like it really fucked me up. Like because I've been so deep in the zone of like listening to Mike's music, where I like over 5 months seeing his album go from being his album to the production to then my songs to then the songs being mixed, and then like hearing like even a song like Girlfriend in the background, like where you hear his voice now on a song with mine, like that shit really kind of fucked me up. So for something like that to happen, it was so crazy, and like it threw me off from not just this project but just from other music that I was like trying to work on afterwards, because it was like I just put so much into this, and now like there's the potential of it being like compromised, and that shit really hurt. I mean, as far as what I wanted to achieve with it, I think I realized like as I was researching more about the album, because like before I really started to work on it, it was just like an appreciation for the album as a piece of music, you know. And then as I started to work on it, I wanted to know more about the actual background of the album. Like, how did the album come together? What was the working process like as they were working on the album? And like, then I started realizing, well, Off the Wall was the first album, you know, that Mike was working with Quincy Jones. It was the first time really that he was kind of like making a solo adult album. You know, it was just the album that set up Thriller and everything that happened after that. So it then became like, unconsciously there was a connection drawn between what I wanted this album to do for my career and what this album did in his career. Like, because I'm in kind of like a transitional phase of my own music, where I'm going from the music that I was making to like the music that I figured out that I think I can actually be the best at making, you know, as opposed to trying to, you know, compete with other people in their own lane. I think I've really found a way to create my own lane, and this is the introduction to that lane. The same way that, you know, Off the Wall was the introduction to the lane that Michael had created for himself throughout his career. So there are a lot of parallels that were drawn. I think that more than anything, I really want this to kind of like bring people into the zone of what they can expect when they hear the album, and I guess the musical progression of my own music and the evolution of my own music. All of the production on the project was handled by my man Woody. Woody's produced. It was unconsciously like we kind of created like a Quincy Michael dynamic, where we were just figuring out the best way to attack each song, and really not trying to have too many hands in the creative pot, so to speak. as we were putting this together, and I think it shows the consistency of the sound throughout the whole project is just a testament to how good the production actually is. And I mean, we had a ridiculous bass to start off of. Just, you know, the musical landscape of Off the Wall itself kind of like lends itself to a bunch of different feelings and a bunch of different, you know, tempos and different emotions in the songs. And I think what we really wanted to do was make sure we had a well-rounded project and not just, you know, a bunch of kind of like strict samples of the project or of the original album. You know, we wanted to have a good cross-section of things that sounded like the original and then things that don't sound like the original at all. Like this joint right here, Logged In, the sample on this, you wouldn't necessarily know, you know, but it's She's Out of My Life. Now that song sounds nothing like this, but you know, we found a way to create our own song based off of that song. I think that's one of the things that both of us are the proudest of, is that we really did make this our own. Next up really is just working on the album. The album is called Evolve. Like halfway through that right now. Just continuing to push the Off the Wall project. We've got Show and Prove in XXL that's coming out the day after the project comes out. More shows, getting out of town a little bit more. Just, you know, continuing to push on and keep the momentum rolling. I mean, it's crazy. In January, I said that I was going to make this my year, and now we're in August. Is like, what, tomorrow? You know, or I don't, whenever this comes out, who knows? But I mean, I feel like there's a really good base of things that I've been able to accomplish this year that are gonna give the album, you know, a really good chance to win. Like, it's funny, I told Mickey Fax last year, I was like, yo, my 09 needs to look like how your 08 did. You know, and I think I kind of like knew that this year needed to be a breakout year for me, and I've been doing everything that I possibly can to ensure that shit happens. And I mean, I think I'm in good shape right now. I think I'm in a really good place, and I have a lot of things going on that I didn't have going on this time last year, or even this time 6 months ago. So, you know, we'll see what the future holds, but the album is coming.